Faith starts to realize there's no room for the first lady of Bad Boy in Daddy's house.
This is the infamous Daddy's House recording studios, and after losing Big, I refused to record here on my Keep the Faith album. I was just kind of like over everything and everybody.
To be honest, I wanted to try and leave Bad Boy after Big died.
He was such a good thing for me because I needed what he had. And so his ambition pushed me to be ambitious.
Ghost word on the curb is that Diddy had a party last night, September 7th, but everybody and Mama was on Twitter talking about watching Faith Evans. They actually had a physical altercation. A lot of people have been wondering her side of the story about word on the street is that she went some messed up situations during her time at Bad Boy. Allegedly, it wasn't just Diddy putting her through it.
I remember going to Puff's house and just trying to talk to him, you know, heart to heart, and just say, yo, please let me go. 'Cause that ain't an easy thing, you know, not with him.
Like in 1993, Faith Evans moved and to started working as a backup singer for Pound and Sugar. It was around this time that got Diddy's attention. Later invited her to do some background vocals. And after just one session in the studio, Diddy signed her on the spot, making her the first artist to join his Bad Boy record
So when I
label.
went in and did these 2 lines and rearranged them, I asked him, Mr. Puff, you mind if I change it around a little bit? And I did, and I added all my arrangements and harmonies, and when I came out, he asked me, did I want to sign his new label?
In 1994, the same year, Diddy signed Faith to Bad Boy. Met Biggie Smalls at a photo quickly shoot. Hit it off. In fact, they got married after knowing each other for just a few weeks.
First time we had a conversation, you know, there was something that I felt that was really cool about him. And shortly after that, it may have been about 5-6 weeks, something like that, and he was like, I'm gonna marry you. I'm like, are you serious? He asked me again the next day, then less than a week, probably August 4th, 1994. We drove up to Rockland County, upstate New York, to the Justice of the Peace, and went in a little room with a clerk, and we got married.
And I was happy. That was my baby.
You know that same year, Diddy asked Faith to sing back vocals and co-write tracks for Blige's second studio album, My Life, and Usher's self-titled debut album, Meanwhile. She also started working on her own self-titled album in August 1995 and became an instant success thanks to chart-topping singles You Used to Love Me and Soon As I Get Home. The album was eventually certified selling 1.5 million copies. The following year, Faith welcomed a son with Christopher Wallace Jr. However, by that point, Faith and Biggie's relationship had already started crumbling amid allegations that including on her with multiple women. Faith allegedly took revenge by affair with none other than Biggie's rival Tupac. This move implicated Faith in the East Coast hip-hop war, and it all culminated into tragedy. On September 7th, 1996, Tupac was killed in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. And just 6 months later, on March 9th, 1997, Biggie was fatally shot in LA after this. Faith's whole perception of the music and Bad Boy Records changed, and she was desperate to leave Diddy's label. Faith later told the New York Times Diddy started mistreating and her, putting all kinds of crazy demands forcing her to tan every other day. He used to walk me to the tanning salon every other day because I was paid, and he wanted to tan me up, Faith. And he told me he wanted me to walk out of the house glamorous all the time. Almost immediately after Biggie died, Diddy pressured to perform his track I'll Be Missing with him and Sting at the 1997 MTV Music Awards. Despite the fact she was still grieving Faith when he wanted me to sing I'll Be Missing at the MTV Awards with Sting. I didn't wanna do anything. I was still grieving. But he got me on the phone like, and listen, you ain't about to F my thing I thought up. My crying would but work. He persuaded me to around this time. There were also a lot of speculations that Diddy said Biggie out he reportedly ordered him to go to knowing LA. That folks over there were avenged Tupac's death. According to former Bad Boy Records executive, Biggie was supposed to travel to on London the day he was killed. However, Diddy called the night and before said Biggie had stayed in LA.
He was supposed to leave that early morning, go to London, and we would be out there for 2-3 days, and then he would go back to New York and go home. Diddy called Sean P. Diddy, whatever his name was during that time, called late Friday night, early Saturday morning, saying he's not going to London. Call Arista, cancel it. You go. You represent it. You go. He's not going. He wants to stay here in LA.
Biggie's mom, who later also had doubts about Diddy's writing in her memoir, I believe Sean loved my son after he was dead. I used to tell Christopher all the time not to trust Sean. And while Valletta didn't accuse Diddy of anything, during her 2020 interview on The Breakfast Club, she still wants to strangle some of Biggie's former associates.
Some of his associates, I still want to strangle them.
So with all these rumors about Diddy setting up, was looking for a way out to leave Bad Boy.
Is the infamous Daddy's House recording studios. And after losing Big, I refused to record here on my Keep the Faith album. I was just kind of like over everything and everybody.
To be honest, I wanted to try and leave Bad Boy after Big died. Even though that makes no sense because I was still in the contract and there's nowhere in there that says you can leave if your husband, passes away.
However, she was contractually tied so she went on to release 2 more albums on his label. And though her second album were well received by critics and fans alike, struggling a lot. Diddy allegedly completely sidelined and made no effort to promote her projects, while there were rumors about being terrorized by Mary J, who was apparently desperate to be the first lady of Bad Boy. Word on the street, Mary was jealous of Faith's vocal talent, and she even had Faith's vocals removed from some of the songs, including their 1995 Love Don't Live Here Anymore.
Song together or something?
Yeah, on my first album, we did a song together called Love Don't Live Here Anymore.
Wow.
And then at the time, the general manager, Bad Boy, called me like probably about 6 months after my album came out, like, Mary wants a voice off your album. You need to call her. I was like, no, I don't. I mean, I didn't do nothing to her, so what am I going to call her for? I don't know what happened. Right. They didn't tell me what happened, so why are you telling me to call her? So I just re-recorded the record, which I hated without her on it. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. When it comes to the disturbing allegations about Mary's time at Bad Boy. According to some industry insiders, Mary wanted to make it so badly that she allowed Diddy to pimp her out to his artist. Back in the 90s, when Mary was officially dating Casey from Jodeci, the rumor was going wild, linking her not only to Diddy, but also multiple Bad Boy artists and other rap heavyweights like Nas, Ace Danny Boy, Grand Pupa, and even Tupac. And according to some long-standing industry whispers, Diddy was reportedly dangling Mary as a prize for artists signing with him. But that's not There was another rumor floating around. Diddy may have gotten Mary pregnant and allegedly pressured her to get an abortion. If that weren't enough, there's a recent blind item making the rounds, suggesting that Diddy's ex, Kim Porter, knew about this and was planning to spill the tea in her tell-all Mary J. blog, being pregnant by Diddy. And of course, she had an ab. Now here's where it gets even more making the rounds online suggests wasn't that just Mary, a bystander in the whole Cassie drama, and that she might have actually been in on some of sessions. If you look up photos of Mary from the time Cassie were an item, you'll stumble on a bunch of pictures of the 3 of them together. And in quite a few of these, they are all holding like hands. It's some throuple situation. But the plot thickens even when more. Cassie finally made her exit. Young Miami step. Mary didn't stay on the sidelines. Once again, she was back in the mix. Often spotted hanging out with Diddy, and then Jaguar Wright joined the publicly blasted for Mary, allegedly sabotaging multiple female including artists. Faith Evans. But Jack didn't stop there. She also suggested that during her time Mary at Bad was Boy, allegedly in charge of procuring young and bringing them to Diddy.
Because as much divisive that you done behind so many female artists back, the way you over Faith, because you was jealous. You over a lot of people, Mary. It's not our fault that Puff picked you up because you had no talent and you fit his plan. It's not Real Singer's fault. He found you in a mall at a talent show singing bad and said, I'm gonna make that star and prove to these motherfuckers you don't need talent to run a record label. You were his prototype. That's why he had you running down the streets looking for every rapper possible to bring back to him. You were a procurer.
Now, Faith Evans always and she didn't directly accuse or Mary of sabotaging. However, fans were able to read between the lines. One fan said, I love Mary J's music, but Faith can sing her under the table. Let's be for real. And I don't understand why she doesn't like when Faith. It's Diddy's fault. Then another person wrote Mary J is attached to Diddy at the hip. Both know one another's dirt, and during her heavy drug he was her main supplier. She is far from innocent. But what's your take on Mary's relationship? Do you think they really conspired against Drop your comments below and then check out this next video.